Hello, I'm Meganova, and today is an extremely sad day. I'm afraid to say because about 15 hours ago, I think now, John Peter Totalbiscuit Bain died from cancer, and it's it's hard to find anything to say in situations like this. Really, he was a massive influence in the entire gaming community. Like, he might not have been the most subscribed person or anything. Like, there's plenty of others with many more subscribers, many more followers, whatever, but m- most of them can't claim to have had the same kind of impact that he did. Just the way he I don't even know where to start. The guy was first and foremost a consumer advocate. Like, absolutely. The one thing he was most focused on was the little guy. Like, he was focused on that the big companies should accommodate. I'm not sure if accommodate is the right word, but he was very focused on telling big companies that I'm having trouble finding the words, but he was he was much better at that than me, but he was very good at calling out industry bullshit. Like, he's basically the only person I can think of who rivals him in that aspect. It's probably Jim Sterling. Those two were even good friends. Even despite the fact that they found themselves on different sides of the fence with the whole Gamergate thing. And honestly, the saddest part about all this is all the assholes on Twitter trying to get attention from morally grandstanding on someone's grave, and his body isn't even cold yet. Like, fucking seriously, get a grip, people. Like, this is just proof that these people just crave attention. They have absolutely no scruples when it comes to this shit. It's beyond sad. Like, it's just, I don't even know what to say about it. I don't want to give these people any attention, so I'm not gonna mention anyone, but I have seen quite a few on Twitter. And honestly, most of them I haven't even given any attention. I have just reported and blocked them right away because I just don't want to deal with those with people like that. Like, yes, I do try to build myself a following right now, but I think I will be fine not having people like that in my community. I don't have a community yet, but that's stuff about me that is not important for this video. Honestly, Totalbiscuit, he has been such an inspiration for me for so many years. Like, I have been following this man for almost 9 years at this point. I even remember how I was introduced to him. I had started at a new school, and there was this guy there named Martin, and he introduced me to his Cataclysm videos. I remember the first video of his I saw was the part 1 of his Worgen starting zone. And I just love, he was just so incredibly funny, while also being very informative. And that's a thing that I feel persisted throughout all of his videos, really. He was really funny, but most of the time he didn't seem like he was like... He never seemed like he tried to be funny. He was just naturally funny, while also being very informative. And I think that, to me, that was one of the most attractive things about his videos. But also just how steadfast he was in his morals. And, I mean, we can discuss his political views. I didn't necessarily agree with everything on that front. And yes, he has done a few questionable things. But all in all, those things weren't really that bad. Like, yes, 5 years ago, he told a man to get cancer and die. And yes, that's a shitty thing to do. And you can claim, oh, it's ironic that he got cancer himself. But we should also remember he did apologize. And I mean, and of course, yes, everybody can apologize. But he apologized well enough to the point that the other person involved accepted it. Even to the point that when it came out that he had gotten cancer, the person who was involved in this, because there were a lot of people on Twitter who were like, hey, isn't it ironic that this happened because blah 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 blah. He even came out and said, lay off him. Like, just leave him alone. We resolved this 3 years ago when this was relevant. Like, just fuck off. And say what you will about him, but he's a fucking fighter. Like, he was told by the doctors he would live 3 months. He ended up living well over 3 years beyond that point. Like, he went out kicking and screaming. He did not go down easily. Gotta give him that. And just all the things he has done for the gaming community overall. Like, it might sound like a mundane thing, but as far as I know, he was the only PC gaming critic who would actually look at the options menus of games. And yes, as I said, it might sound like a mundane thing, but in a PC game, the options menu is very important because you do have the ability to change the settings depending on what kind of computer you have. So it's important that you have a proper options menu to work with. Like, it's super important, and I feel a lot of people don't give that enough credit. But I have played so many games where I get into the options menu and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, nothing is placed where you would expect it to be, and they are using weird phrases instead of just numbers telling you that, oh, this is what it is. Like, FOV sliders, or not even sliders, but there were settings where it's just narrow, wide, or extra wide. It's like, I don't know what narrow, wide, or extra wide means. Just give me numbers. Like, is it 75 degrees? Is it 90 degrees? Is it 120 degrees I can see? Like, give me numbers that I can work with. And he would call out bullshit like that. He would call out bullshit like, loot boxes. And yes, that seems obvious today, but it was basically just him and Jim Sterling who was calling that out at first. Like, and even for how much TB loved games like Overwatch, he would still call out bullshit like that. Like when there were an event like the Christmas event or whatever, and their first event was the Olympics thing, where it was like, oh, you can only get these through loot boxes, you can't actually buy them, and when the event is gone, you can't get them anymore either. Like, that's bullshit. And he pointed out that bullshit. And I know now it seems obvious, but there weren't actually that many who were calling this stuff out back then. I mean, there's plenty of other things. But I don't want this video to run for fucking ages. But just seriously, he did so much good stuff for this community. I mean, and just how rigorously he fought for the fucking for the esports scene of RTS. Like, there was just so much. I could go on for ages, but I don't want to bore you with that forever. And yeah, today we really lost one of the biggest personalities within the gaming community. Like, he was really important, whether you agreed with him or not on politics or whatever. He was a really important person for all gamers, basically. And we need to remember him for that. And yeah, that's basically what I have to say about this for now. If anyone ends up watching this and commenting, please keep it civil. I would prefer nobody starts up shit in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated. But yeah. Other than that, I hope you have a nice day in spite of what has just happened. Bye bye.